You're listening to The Parallel Paths, a podcast designed to elevate your mind, body, and spirit so that you can get everything you want out of life. The only question is, are you ready? Welcome back to the Parallel Paths podcast. I'm your co-host, Nikita Moore.
I'm your other co-host, Blair McClendon.
And we are back with another super special episode, not just because of our amazing guests that we have here, but because it has been a year since we dropped the very first episode of the Parallel Paths podcast. And it's a
Hey. Yeah. Happy holidays to the Chiefers out there. Happy 420. But yeah, it's been a good ride. It's almost the end of our third season. So I think this is episode 35 if we fully counting. But
yes.
Yeah, man, it's been dope.
I'm putting in work. And in putting in all that work and doing what we do, grinding, we have come across and crossed paths with our guest for today, Mr. Markus. So, Markus, go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners. Let them know what you do and what you're about.
Okay. I'm Markus Jiggets, first and foremost. Happy 420. We're celebrating accordingly today for sure. I would say I'm in the financial side of things. Financial literacy would definitely be my point of interest. Definitely enjoy making money. That's my favorite thing to do. Pretty much all the other ventures that I look at doing have to be funded by something. So I figured why not start at the baseline, financial literacy being my key point there.
Beautiful. Absolutely love that. Now, is financial literacy something that you've always kind of been into? You've always kind of been conscious of money and aware of how to use it, or is it something that you struggled and now you're at that place where you're like, okay, let's get to the money?
It definitely was something I was always conscious of. I feel like I could make money. I was always working, but I was working for money. That was the issue in the beginning. Working for money, just kind of program thinking. Working 2 or 3 jobs. Never had a problem doing it, but then I realized I was getting burnt out, and then just becoming aware of self and how things should be. Then I realized money needs to work for me. So that's where the shift came in, and now it's I'm putting the money to work, and I can sit back and just let it do its thing.
Ooh, sounds like the dream.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
That is the goal. So what are your? Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, what are your money streams?
Money dreams?
Money streams.
Oh, streams. Definitely investing. Investing was the main thing that kind of got me into. I first kind of learned probably stocks first. I kind of got hip to some just mutual friends who kind of put me on the game with stocks. Started looking into that, getting the dividend stocks. I think I started with like AT&T. Just products that I used myself. AT&T is my phone service. I got into Nike, eBay, just like I said, goods and services that I was already using. And then I figured out they were dividend stocks. I can basically get paid to use it or own a share. That's a no-brainer for me.
Let's pause you right there. That's a key thing, is buying stocks of things that you're using.
Right.
That is a gem right there. So if you're using it, you're putting money into this company, you might as well own part of the company.
You might as well own some of it. If I'm supporting it, then why would I not? Why would I not buy into it and then have it pay me back? So that's where I started at first. And then, like I said, I kind of got into the wind of the crypto thing. I feel like early on, I guess from the general public, for sure. I started taking wind of that probably 2015, 2016-ish. But I really didn't make any real moves until about 2017. That's when I really started paying attention, learning the game as far as how to set up everything and to go get. And I could see the value of Bitcoin and everything like that. All the cryptocurrencies, I could see the value of it then. And that's when I was like, okay, I might as well start putting some money over here in this area as well. And it's grown to where I'm kind of getting into today.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
As far as like the financial literacy side, what are some things you would suggest a new investor, or some steps that you would suggest a new investor take, whether it be with stocks or crypto, if they're trying to get into it right now?
Definitely probably looking into Like I said, first and foremost, things that they already use, stuff that they already use, just kind of look into those. If it's the stock aspect of things, look into stuff that they already use, so you can kind of see if there's value to you, right? It doesn't have to be a dividend stock. Pretty much dividend stocks is paying you back. It can be anything that you feel like is a good service or whatever. So you're feeling like this is going to last. And this is a product that has value, so it's going to last over time. So I'll put money into it, thinking it's going to grow. I just kind of started with like a good amount of research on companies that I felt like would last over time. Like Coca-Cola, perfect thing. Like Coca-Cola's never going to go anywhere. Let's be real.
Right.
I don't know companies, things like that. I myself don't necessarily drink Coke. I don't drink sodas, but I do drink Body Armor from time to time. That's owned by Coke. So bought into Coke, things of that nature. When it comes to crypto, it's a little different. The volatility as far as how the market fluctuates over there on that side, it's a little bit different. So you kind of can't, it's really in the infancy stage of crypto anyway. So you kind of can't really see how things play out in comparison to the stocks. But their services, if you're well versed in the crypto space, then you'll know that there are certain things that you want to get around, like fees or whatever. So there are certain cryptos that are in place for you to have cheaper fees, move things easier in that regard. So the research as far as what it is that you're actually interested in getting into first, that would be the major thing. And then from there, probably discipline. So whatever your stream of income is at the current time, just go ahead and budget out. Okay, this is the amount that I want to put in towards investing, and then you can go from there. Then your world opens up from that point forward.
That's dope. And I love that you said that the crypto thing is still in its infancy.
Oh, for sure.
Because I do catch myself being like, cause I'm like still waiting for my Binance account to clear. And, right. I saw the whole little Dogecoin, wave go. And I'm like, I'm missing, but I'm also like, we're still the very
FOMO, you're getting scared, like, oh man, I'm missing out. Everything is completely, like everything. I mean, from Bitcoin down, everything is still in its infancy stage. Like if you know about it right now, you're in the top 5 to 3% of the world. You're I promise.
Yeah, I think it might be even like the top 2.5% if you know about this stuff right now. But yeah, it's so much room to grow. And for the listeners out there who are familiar with The Simpsons and the predictive programming that show provides, Bitcoin hit infinity. So if that tells you anything.
Okay.
That's very much a feasible thing too. Like you kind of can't even wrap your mind around it, but it's almost an unlimited cap on what Bitcoin can do. And I don't think people understand that yet, but still very early. 60,000 sounds like a lot. It's not. It's really not.
Beautiful.
It's not.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Blair.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but with that, also thinking about the context of what you were just saying, it's only 19 million Bitcoin, and it's what 8+ billion people on Earth.
Exactly.
So these minuscule pieces of it being divvied, that's why it's so important to hold on to it right now when you can accumulate it, especially while it's at a quote unquote lower price. Like we got to stop thinking about when it was at 4,000 and all this stuff when we could have bought in. Like we got to think about now. So even if you can just get some little pieces now and start to stack them, you'll still see some huge growth over time. Plus with altcoins that you can also do some of the similar trading to.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big factor. People I don't know if they're, if you're a beginner looking at it, you're thinking, okay, there's only 19 million coins. Each one of those coins can be broken down, mined down into a smaller piece. So say you have half a Bitcoin right now, or even, a quarter of a Bitcoin. Like you said, perfect example of being 8 billion people. That's the supply and demand there. There's only 19 million, there's 8 billion people. So as the world starts to convert, you get over into accepting cryptocurrency as like the main source of income, or, it's revenue, the value of it's only going to shoot up and continuously rise. So you holding the 1%, 10% of it, of one Bitcoin right now may not seem like a lot, but like I said, as people start to get on board and major economies really start to accept it for real, the price of that's going to go skyrocketing. So it's you definitely have some, and just hold. Like I can't preach that enough. Just hold some of it. You can move it around, like you said, into altcoins, doing whatever, but just make sure you have a piece to where you can just sit on it, hold, and don't even think about, I might sell this when it gets to a certain price. I promise you get higher than that anyway. So just have it in your back pocket, and that can be your that's your goal reserve for you and your family and your kids and on down the line.
Mm-hmm. What would be the advantage to putting money in crypto versus saving it in the bank?
There's plenty. Okay, so put it in a bank. Say you're lucky enough to have a bank that has some sort of yield on your money. If it's a savings account, checking account, whatever, it's probably going to be very minuscule, like maybe 1%. If you get a really good bank, which I think there are some out there, online banks that maybe can do like a 5 to 10% range, but it's like there's a cap on it. There's a cap on how much money you can put in there to get that kind of yield. You maybe make a couple of dollars here in a year, couple potentially. In crypto, you can take that same amount of money and put it into an altcoin or a major coin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whichever one it may be, and literally let it sit for like a day or two. And as the market fluctuates, because it goes up, it goes down, but for the most part, it's continuously on the rise, just, spread out over time. It can literally get that percentage yield in a couple minutes, really and truly, depending on the coin that you have it in. And it continuously grows. There's no cap on, oh, you can only get this percentage. You can only, you can multiply your money by 100 times over if you get the right coin, just depending on what it is. So the major benefit there, like I said, is the growth of it. There's always a risk as far as you choosing the wrong coin. If it's something that you're uneducated on, you throw some money at a coin and you don't understand that it's a coin that they call a pump and dump, and you get it, put your money on it when it's high, and then they just dump it.
Like Doge.
For instance, Doge. Like, that's one of those coins. That was a joke coin at first. It's got some backing now in it, but that's one of those coins that the value of it there is it's not necessarily, and let me go ahead and say I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I'm not giving anyone financial advice to say take your money out of Doge. It's not what I'm saying. But the value for Doge isn't necessarily, or Dogecoin, whichever one it is. It's not necessarily there how it is for Ethereum or Cardano or Bitcoin. It's kind of a coin that was like it was really a joke at one point, and then it got started getting some backing by Elon Musk, who's a known troller anyway. So, that's a risk in itself. So, of course, you get your money, get in and get out. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I have more power to you. Like, of course, I would encourage it, but look for more valuable coins, I guess, things that have more value to it. That way you can almost guarantee you're going to get a very good percentage back of whatever you invested initially.
I would say too, just to piggyback off that for the listeners, again, this is not financial advice, right? This is just information. But yeah, when it comes to that and the popularity of coins, by the time it hits the news, you're already late. So this is a type of game where you need to be doing research ahead of time and like really looking into certain coins and examining price points and charts and stuff like that, and making those decisions based off of information you found and not when it hits the news. Because by the time it hits the news, it's old news. People are already selling to get out. You put your money in, then you end up losing money. So then you feel like, oh, well, the system's not working for me. But like, no, it works, but you need to put in the work up front.
Exactly. That is exactly. And that's a major thing as well. Glad you touched on that. As far as when people see like a popular coin, like for instance, how Dogecoin is right now, or Doge, it's already made a significant move. Like, you'll see the price point right now and think, oh man, like I can get a large amount for pretty cheap, relatively cheap or whatever. Still, I wouldn't, like I said, well, I'm not telling anybody to not get into it or anything like that, but it's already made its move. Well, it's already made a very, very significant move to where, had you put in a decent amount of money on the front end, then it moved just very little, very slightly. You could have cashed out, got a good amount, all depending on what your exit strategy was. So really and truly learning how to research coins and how to research certain projects, that's really an important piece of it. Knowing, I guess, like you said, if you're going in with a strategy of saying, okay, I'm trying to get to a certain percentage or a certain amount that I'm trying to get out of it, learning your exit strategies. Those are two very integral parts of getting in and getting out, doing it safely and smart wise, where you're very much limiting your risk. I can't stress that enough.
I feel like there's so much psychology to finances and trading and crypto, forex. Like, can you speak on that a little bit?
That's across the board. That's not even just crypto. That's just finances in general. Period. No matter what it is, if it's money, just regular fiat stocks, whatever. Definitely having a discipline. Like, people go into the stores. I see my mom does it all the time. She'll go into the store and see something that's on sale. Oh, I can get this too for whatever. And I'm like, you only need one. You don't have to, just because it's on sale, you don't have to get both of them. Like, you came with your budget of saying, I'm trying to spend, get whatever and spend this amount of money. Just because it's on sale, you don't have to grab it. Like, you don't have to get it and, spend over your budget or whatever. And it's the same thing when it comes to crypto and things of that nature. It's like, if you can take your emotion out of what your plan is. So you're going in with a solid plan of saying, okay, my budget is this, how I was talked about it earlier. I budgeted a certain amount of money out of my income from either it's a 9 to 5 or whatever, and taking that and investing over here into, if it's just crypto, if it's just stocks, options, whatever it may be, then that's what you stick with. Like, you're not chasing anything. You're not with the fear of missing out, like we were just sitting here talking about. We just touched on that a minute ago. You're not chasing anything, and you're not searching for the next coin to go just shooting. You're just going to get whatever it is that you're looking at, whatever it is that you've done your research on, and saying, okay, I'm gonna go make this investment into this coin, and then I'm gonna sit on it until I get to my exit point. That's literally what you need to do. And you can do that with multiple coins, obviously at one time. That's where the psychology definitely comes into play, because it's a thing of discipline. It's a thing of just being kind of an even keel. Like, I've seen many days where I go look at my stocks and I'm like, I could go jump off a cliff right now. Like, things have just been in the red. And then the next day they bounce right back. But it's like you have to take the L's with the W's and things like that. But definitely remaining just steadfast and grounded in what your goals are. That's the biggest part of it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I had posted about a year ago, because I was in like a forex trading group, and I think it was like a Bitcoin pair that I got like 400. I put like $10 in, got like $400 off of.
Right.
And then after that, I started doing just like reckless, stupid stuff.
Of course. You have the ability to do it. I get it. Trust me, I understand. I get it.
But in doing that and like watching it fall, it really taught me an important lesson about, detaching from it, and realized just as easy as I got it in 30 seconds, I made $400 and I lost it over time. Like, just detaching yourself, but also keeping that mindset that money's always flowing to me. So still maintain that mindset and not let losses affect you.
Right. Another thing, I'm glad you said that too. Well, first and foremost, money is attracted to you. That's how you should be looking at it. Money is attracted to you. You don't have to chase it. It's chasing you, essentially. So just let it come to you. But I forgot what I was about to say about that, actually. You definitely just hit something on the head when you said, as far as you made it that quick and then you turned around and can lose it over time. It's, like I said, that plays back into the discipline thing. Just pretty much it works for me. I can't say it may work for anybody else. I'll take, like I said, whatever percentage that I'm going to go invest, I literally take it and get it out of my mind, as far as this is money that I have available to spend. Like, that's money that I have just at work for me right there. It's going to come back to me when it comes back to me, whenever that is. That's fine. It's going to come back tenfold. That's just how I view it. So it's like, I don't even, like, if I take
planting seeds.
Right. Like, if I go, that is exactly how I look at it. I'm planting seeds with it. So if I take this $100 and go put it wherever, I don't look at it like, okay, in my wallet, I'm down $100. It's like, no, my starting point now is just here. Like, it's here with that $100 exclusion. It's over there, whatever, and it's working. That'll come back to me when it's just like you said, planting the seeds. They'll come back, and I'll go back and look at that. I try to make sure I'm not just sitting on my phone looking at charts or whatever it is. Like, oh man, just once again, when I catch myself doing that, then I already know I kind of like tied myself up as far as feelings into whatever it is that I'm investing. That way, I'll make it to where I'm like, okay, let me check my chart once a day or whatever it may be, and then that's it. There's nothing more to it. I'll have an alert set if it gets to the point I'm looking to get to, and I'm letting it go. So it's, once again, the psychology part, major role in it.
Yeah. And that sounds even spiritual in just the sense of the energy when you are spending money or placing money in other places, the energy that you put into that money as you're making that exchange is so important. And like, because if you're spending money feeling like, damn, I'm losing, then that's what you're going to be attracting, is that loss.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, so it's just like, it definitely all is energy. And this is why like I prefer shopping at like Black owned businesses, because it's easier for me to, expect that or recognize that currency is flowing back to me, because I am
Right.
directly flowing it back to me by putting it in, my community.
Hey, Parallel Podcast listeners. If you're looking to learn more about building a strong mindset and deepening your meditation practice, join Makita every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time live on Instagram for Makita's meditation and mindset tips. You can also schedule a free consult by visiting the link in her Instagram bio at Makita Smiles. And for all things health and wellness, check out Blair's site, 3layerswellness.com, for products, services, and resources. And if you're looking to establish or enhance your business online presence, don't forget to check out thebonafideagency.com for assistance with websites, logos, graphic designs, and more. You can find all of this information in the show notes as well.
One of the things that helped me kind of switch a little switch in my head, I guess, flip a switch in my head, would be, I don't even use the word spend anymore. It's just circulate. So wherever it's at, I just circulate the money there. That means it's in a continuous, like, cyclical state. So it's going to come back to me. And if it's Black owned, whatever it may be, I'm circulating my money through here. It'll come back to me. And like I said, tenfold, whatever it may be. That way I'm leaving it open to come back. So that was one of those things that I just kind of took, I guess, a conscious awareness of, just like you said, about the feelings that I attach to money, things of that nature. It's like, I already know it's coming. It's not even coming. It's here already. It's just I have to reach out, grab it. That's it. Simple as that.
One thing that kind of helped me shift my mindset with that, I use the same thing. I circulate money, not spend it. But I also look at anytime I circulate money, it's an opportunity for investment. So whether it's the food that I'm buying, that's an investment in my body. Whether it's that good herb, that's medicinal. So that's an investment in creativity or whatever that may be. Or if it's something for my business, then I'm investing in that. So it's always an investment. I don't waste money like I used to. So even when somebody may say, well, hey, I don't have, or they're trying to find ways to invest, and they may say they don't have the means to invest, it's more so really just taking a look at what your habits are and seeing what you can cut back on and what you may be able to eliminate maybe on this day. And when we're talking about some of these cryptos, let's say you mentioned the Cardano earlier. It's at like $1.23. So for somebody who goes to Starbucks 5 times a week, cut that down to 1 or 2. And then put that coffee money into some Cardano, and you got multiple coins just based off of a simple habit change. So again, Markus said it best earlier, but this is an entry point for our community to get in on something actually early and be able to build some generational wealth for our kids type stuff.
Definitely, man. I view things differently, just how you said that example. I literally view things in the terms of opportunity costs, just like you said now. Like, I'll see whatever it may be. If it's something that it's a want, nothing that's necessarily, I need or anything like that. If it's a want, I'm looking at that like, man, okay, if I go spend $20 here, I could have went and got a quick gem here. I could have went and got like 10,000 Safe Moon. These coins are cryptos that are like less than a penny. I could have gotten that and then just set on that, let that build, and then it may not be right now, but in a couple of days, $20 is nothing. And then whenever I've taken my profit out of it, I could have bought whatever it was, $20, 100 times over. Things like that. That's
Short-term sacrifice, long-term gains.
For sure. For sure. And that definitely helps me stay not frugal, but more so like more conscious of how I'm circulating my money now. Like I definitely tightened up on I guess I wasn't really a big spender when it comes to just things that I don't necessarily money. Okay, food. Food is where I spent circulated a lot of money, and I can cut back in that area for sure. That's one of those things that it took me to, I guess, start seeing things in opportunity cost way that I was like, okay, that's definitely an area where I can just cut back on, and then start investing more of it over here into things that are going to be fruitful for me in whatever amount of time. Definitely a spot that I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to that one, just because I know when I talk to most people and they're saying that, you know, they can cut back on expenses here and there, it's usually food, usually eating out, things of that.
Yep. And where would you, if somebody, let's say somebody didn't know anything about this, has never set up an account, like what would be, if you could like kind of break it down, like what would be the steps into actually buying your first coin?
Well, probably the easiest platform would be Coinbase, because it was the first major one, I guess. You can literally just go YouTube. Most of the major platforms now, exchanges and wallets, you can go YouTube is how to do it for the most part. Coinbase, like I said, that was the original one. That one, Binance. You can literally go set up your wallets, set up all your information, get verified. You have to provide some documents, things of that nature, and then you can go buy pretty much anything. Coinbase, like I said, those are your major coins on Coinbase. Like Coinbase would be the closest thing to, I guess, a bank in the crypto space, because it's like you go there to get the major coins, and then you can go to other exchanges and you'll get smaller altcoins and things like the dog coin, like that's the Doge coin, like those aren't available everywhere. Pretty much go buy your Bitcoin and you start from there. You can go exchange, do your research on whichever exchanges that you can go switch the Bitcoin from that to whatever altcoin you're trying to get. I start at Coinbase for sure. That'd be
And just a warning to everybody, well, not a warning, but just a heads up. These platforms, they are going to ask for your social security number. You know, they're going to ask for your ID. So don't be feeling like it's a scam or be afraid of that. But this is money, you know, just like
it's like setting up a bank account.
Yeah, the bank would do the same thing. So
exactly. That's definitely a big thing. I was telling my dad 5 years ago now. Oh, you know, generation previous to us, a little skeptical on things of this nature. Like, oh, I don't want to provide my social security number on online. Like, you know, just old mentality, ways of thinking. And I had to really sit down with my dad and say, hey, look, this is the same thing as a bank. You know, it's literally the same thing. You just don't go. You're not going to a brick and mortar building. Literally the exact same thing. They could do the same thing at the bank with your social security number that you're fearful of, you know, providing it here. So it's one of those things. I know those limiting thoughts and beliefs are kind of passed down. So anybody who may be younger in our generation, or even, you know, younger than us, that's one of those things as well. Just because it's asking you, like you said, for personal information, it's just, you're literally just being verified. Like essentially the same thing you'd be doing if you're going to a bank. You can just kind of look in the community as far as whatever you're trying to get into, what space you're trying to get into, and see how legit it is as far as the quantity of people being able to get into it without being like scammed. So that should be one of those things that's like a comforting factor, I guess, when you're trying to enter that realm. It's nothing that you wouldn't go do at a bank anyway.
Mm-hmm. And I would say one thing, because when I was in the Forex group, it was like nothing but like 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old Black kids up in there. Like everybody was. And I was like, this is so beautiful. But I'm like, for how long are they going to let us make money off of this market? Like,
exactly. That's another thing as well too. I was definitely into Forex early on. Well, I'm not gonna say early on. I'll say I was in the Forex when I first got into just financial side of things. That was one of the very first things I learned as well. I actually learned how to read charts, which good. It carries over from Forex to stocks to crypto, same thing. I learned that system early, and I definitely noticed that it was people who look like me for sure was in that space heavily. And that's another thing too. You were kind of piggybacking on what we just talked about. Another thing I noticed, like when we were making some money and we're trying to tell the people, hey, this is a space that you can come get into and make some money. You don't have to, you know, break your back at 9 to 5 and all this good stuff. Skeptical, you know, obviously off rip, thinking, oh man, this is a pyramid scheme, whatever it may be, you know, things like that.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true. And I was like, man, at this point, it's like I'm not even trying to preach anything. It's just I can show you whatever you need to see, whatever proof you need to see, but I guess they'll come around when they come around. But the Forex side of things, to me, I got turned off. I will say I got turned off early on because the groups that I was getting into, they were more focused on the residuals, like recruiting people to get underneath them, and I was like, that's actually, which was a blessing. Now I look at it in its time, because that's actually what pushed me over to crypto. That was the exact reason why I didn't focus all of my attention on Forex more. So like I started making a little bit of money here, but I could see that people weren't necessarily too eager to teach strategies. Like they would teach one or two, and then it was like, okay, well, I really just want you to sign up under my link here, and then make some money here and there, and you go get whoever else you want to. That's benefiting me as well. So I was like, okay, I noticed that, and every time I got in a group, that's kind of what they were pushing. Not knocking any Forex groups, guys. Let me throw that out there. But that was what turned me to my path. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, blessing in disguise for sure, because it's led me down to the crypto world, and that's for sure my main focus. Everything else, I'm still definitely interested in growing my Forex knowledge as well. So if anybody has any information that they can advise me on, feel free to hit me up.
What's the main difference? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What's the main difference between like Forex and like the way Forex moves and the way crypto moves?
Forex is a lot more stable. I mean, you got, for instance, if you got currency pairs like US dollar and the euro or whatever it may be, the fluctuation prices between the two, it's not that great. They'll move, but it's not really like a volatile market like that. Crypto can literally shoot up and down within a day. You can make on both ends, on when it's going up, when it's going down. You can do the same thing, like I say, with Forex, don't get me wrong, but it's like the dips and the valleys. If you're looking at a chart from the peaks and the valleys, it's not as great as it would be in crypto. Stocks kind of the same way. Forex, like I said, it there's a lot of aspects to it and nuances. Like you can trade the news. Like if something's going on in a country and you're using that pair to trade with, if it's good news or bad news, if it's a quarterly review of something, the government's spending or whatever it may be, that affects the price of whatever the currency is that they have. So that'll kind of affect it. It's like it can go up and go down, like I said, but it's just not as great of a fluctuation in price as crypto is. Same thing, same strategies as buying. Like you can go set a limit order to say in crypto, you're looking at a certain, if it's Bitcoin or whatever, you can say, okay, if it dips down and touches a certain price, I want to buy X amount of it. So you can do the same thing in pairs and Forex and everything like that. It's just the market moves a lot faster. So you have to get in and get to your entry points a lot faster because crypto is a lot more volatile than Forex is.
Okay. So it sounds like Forex. Wait, would you say like Forex or crypto requires more like monitoring?
You can really and truly, if you get to a point, like if you're a beginner, I would say Forex for sure, because that can go south really fast. Like I've had many trades where I just wasn't paying attention to something. Like when I'm saying I'm not paying attention, I just wasn't looking at my chart, and I had a price just dip on me when I was expecting it to go the other way, and I had a lot of money per increment that it went down, and within literally like a minute, just lost so much money. so much money. Right. And like I see that in crypto space, like you're not necessarily putting money on each increment that it goes down. You just have money invested into it. So as it goes down, the value of it goes down, but you're not necessarily, playing with it that way. So the Forex for sure takes more of your actual time to look at the chart for sure. But you can both, like if I know there's seasoned veterans out there who can just kind of have it on autopilot. Like I said, they'll have alerts, things set up to where, your trades are already, you have entry points, you have exit points, things of that nature. You have your stop losses set, all of that. Like that's kind of more than a beginner's, I guess, point. But definitely you'd want to pay attention more to Forex as far as being just in front of your phone or in front of your computer, paying attention that way to monitor it.
I was gonna say, I know it's a time commitment to do this type of stuff. So if there was somebody who, let's say, wanted your advice or for you to trade on your behalf, is that a service or something that you would offer?
Definitely. I would definitely trade. I actually do kind of do it now. Trade on behalf of others. We'll come to an agreed, I guess, either percentage or whatever, depending on, their account, what they're looking to gain, things of that nature. I kind of basically trade on, unless I'm given specific directions, like they have a plan for their account, they want to do it, they want to be aggressive, whatever it is. Unless they're doing that, I'll basically trade their account almost the same way I'll trade mine, and then the percentage for them is just comes off, or percentage for myself comes off top of theirs, and that's it. Definitely, I definitely would do it, like I said, because it is a time commitment. Especially if you're early on and you're learning it, then you want to have the knowledge. So you're going to have to spend that time on the front end so you can kind of get to it to where it's on autopilot for you as well. But yeah, I'll try to limit myself to say, okay, if I'm trading, if I'm day trading, I'll limit myself to a certain either time frame or profits gained, one of the two. And just depending on, I kind of know how, I guess, the market fluctuates now as far as what's moving and what's not. I can switch from back and forth per day, however I want to do it.
Gotcha. You on mute? Oh.
Why are we making money off of this system? Why is it, what value is it bringing for people to make money off of the way currencies are moving? Why is that even a way to make money? Because it's not a service. You get what I'm asking?
You wondering why the fluctuation of currencies and stuff like that?
Why is it a way to make money? If it's just what currencies are moving, why are we able to profit off of that?
Okay, so same way you would do it, like literally with a dollar. Like the U.S. economy essentially was backed off of, just think of it as like a bucket full of gold. They said this bucket full of gold has this value. It's $500 million, and they started printing out money in currency, fiat paper, or whatever, saying, okay, this is an increment of this $500 million right here. Same thing is essentially what happened with Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin was, there was X amount, which was 19 million coins out there, and we started placing the value on Bitcoin. The consumer placed the value and said, okay, somebody started with whatever and was like, okay, I'll give you this amount of Bitcoin for whatever good it is that you have. And then more people started seeing that, and they're like, okay, well, I want that as well. And then more people started paying, essentially putting into the pot. That's really how it started. And then it just blew up and grew from there. Other coins started forming, things of that nature. Now, with that being the case, and there's so many, just playing right back in what we're talking about, there's different currencies out there for each country. So JPY, the Japanese, I think it's,
the yen.
Yeah, the yen. All these other different currencies, they have different values from the American dollar. And that right there, the fluctuation in those prices right there already gives value in between. So if you take this one thing right here with your American dollar attached to it and say, I'm going to give it to you over here with this Japanese yen, that Japanese yen has a different value than this dollar does. So that right there already, just breaking this down to the smallest denominator, that already gives you value or takes away the value, because depending on, if the Japanese yen is up or down in comparison to the dollar. So spread that out over a whole bunch of coins, altcoins and things of that nature, as we place value, because Bitcoin becomes more valuable in the world based on countries accepting it, other platforms accepting it. So the value of it starts to rise and everything like that. You have X amount of Bitcoin, and you start to trade that off as your Bitcoin is going up. Trade it off to go get whatever it is over here, and that's exactly how it built. Same way, I guess, as you do pretty much any other currency. Essentially, got its value as well. It's just, this is like digital. This is just on the digital side. You don't actually have a piece of paper or coin. It's just all digital. So that's literally how it started. And now we're kind of seeing it on a macro level. Once again, still in the infancy stage though. It's a lot of people, a lot of platforms, a lot of things are catching on and saying, okay, it makes a lot of sense to have one currency that can kind of be traded throughout the world instantly. Like, you don't have to go through an exchange per se of like going somewhere, you go out of the country, you got to go take your money, put it into an exchange, get this amount back, and you're like, dang, this wasn't the same amount that I put in if it was American amount, things of that nature. So that's really and truly how we're making money off of. Like, you kind of manipulate it by saying, like, I always give the example for people who may bet on sports or whatever. You take a parlay, a multiple team bet, or multiple game bet or whatever, and then you just hope all of them hit, right? So like, you put money on one game to go this way, you win on that one, and you take your winnings from that, put it on the next one, that one wins, so your money is multiplied. Same thing with cryptocurrencies and altcoins and everything else like that. You just look at, for instance, you had Dogcoin. You could have put $10 in the Dogcoin 5 or 6 months ago, let it grow to what it would be now. Probably be you'd have made a good return. It would be in the triple digits for sure by now. You take those earnings, put it over here into another coin. Like I said, right now, Safe Moon is one that's going to be shooting to the moon soon. Let it grow. Take from 100 or whatever that triple digit number was, let it grow into a 4-digit number. Take the money, move it over here into Cardano or VeChain or Bitcoin, whatever it is, and you just let it grow that way. Like, that's literally manipulating at a macro level of how we just talked about taking the money and moving it from one thing to another, and you just take the earnings. Simple as that.
Beautiful.
Sounds complicated, but
yeah.
Sounds very intricate, but really and truly, if you look at it from the standpoint of, okay, all I'm doing really is just moving assets. It's money, like, we're viewing it as money, but it's really just assets. You just move your assets over here, then move it over there, move it over there. You can divvy it up however you want to. The more you do it, the more you'll start to see the value of, okay, this actually has value over here, so I'm gonna move more of my assets over into this area.
Mm-hmm.
That accrues the money, and just keep going about that way.
That's beautiful. The part I love about all this is that all you need is a phone. You don't need a boss to hire you. It don't matter if you got a record. Like,
you be sitting in your drawers making money at the house. Like, there's nobody telling you, okay, you can't be on your phone. Go put your phone in your locker. You got to be doing this from 9 to 5 in this time frame. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency. It's open 24/7. You can wake up 3 in the morning and make money. You can wake up at whatever time, start making money. If you're dedicated to, I like money, so let me go start trading every day. Anytime. Literally 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Whatever you want to do.
Beautiful. Are you a full-time trader?
I am. I will. I got. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I got some encouragement and inspiration from just one of the people I'm very thankful for in life. Your co-host was like, man, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it full time. Like, just go ahead and do it. So I got to a point where I saw the risk was. I'm not even gonna say it. I didn't even look at a risk. I just saw it to where it was costing me more money to be at work than day trading. And I was like, yeah, I think it's a good time to go ahead and do this now. Fuck that job. Let me go do this full time. So, yeah.
Bro, he made more in one day than he would have in a week.
Yeah. Yeah. The very first time I did it, as far as like this being the thing that I'm doing now, yeah. I made a week salary within a couple minutes. And I was like, yeah, I think I can quit that job now.
Yeah, and I said a day, a couple of minutes for real. Like, you find a good buyer, it might be a 3-minute transaction, and you made 4 digits.
Exactly. And now
ridiculous.
Doesn't make sense for me to be here anymore. So full-time trading is my somebody asked me what I do. I'm a day trader. That's what
Beautiful.
That's my job.
See, I feel like that was a reward from the universe, like immediately for
sure.
you doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
For sure. And like I said, this is the way I look at finances, me being a day trader, is really just, it's a means to fund other ventures, whatever it may be, if it's philanthropy, if it's, building, just really and truly, like I said, building the generational wealth that I'm trying to accumulate for everybody beyond me. Mm-hmm. Kind of wanted to take the limiting beliefs that I had, whether that came through stuff passed down, just my environment growing up, whatever it was, anything related to money. That was one of those things where I was like, I definitely want to make sure I'm cognitive and aware of my beliefs, so my children and everybody else can see coming beyond me that you don't have to limit yourself, especially when it comes to things that you can do. And I felt like this was a good place to start, so everything else can open up right behind it. Like I can fund everything else behind that. So that was my grand scheme, my why, I guess, moving forward.
That's beautiful. Doing it for the people.
Thank you. Exactly. For everybody. It's not even just for my family. This is for the people.
Facts.
I want everybody on board. Everybody eats. Wise words of a man named Blair McClendon.
We eating. Let's go.
Yes.
For sure.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Especially because like we've been taught by this culture to have that lack mindset, and that if you're winning, that means I'm losing. Like, but that's not true. And especially when it comes to crypto, because, you know, the more of us that go into it, the more all of us.
Everyone, exactly. So it's a team effort, community effort, as far as just looking at it like, I'm definitely cheering anytime I see somebody getting, a good return on whatever trade they made. Bravo.
Yeah, never any jealousy or any of that stuff. Like when it comes to our group and the men that I'm surrounded with, we some dogs, we some wolves for real. So it's literally, I feel like a pack of alpha males, and we all rooting for each other. So it's been dope to see, and even with everybody else, it's like it's so much out here, and when you really examine the systems that were put in place and like the programming, like you said, that implements this lack type of mindset into us, it's not natural. So when you really start to examine the market and like you see different things, and Markus alluded to it earlier, when you stop trading time for money and you realize that money has to circulate, or else that dollar is going to stay at $1 or continue to fall. So when you become the bank, you start to see some different things. And then even this past weekend, just being able to visualize and be in certain environments with the homies and being like, man, everything that we plan on manifesting is definitely feasible, and it's definitely coming.
Sure.
Like it just opened up so many more, for one, opportunities, but just a perspective on everything that we have going. And salute to you, my brother, for taking that leap of faith, because I know it's not an easy one. But like I told you, as soon as you take it, the universe will reward you. And I don't want to speak on your behalf, but it looks like it's doing its job.
I'm with you when you're right, sir. I'll say that. I'll say that. For sure.
My man.
Awesome. So what can you give us a little insight into some other projects that you plan to kind of circulate your earnings through?
Yeah, for sure. Still, I'll say this is for sure like foundational work, even to fund more things coming beyond that as well, sticking on the crypto side of things, just money related. So day trading, I can use that to actually fund lending crypto as well. And as I spoke earlier about everything that you can do with fiat currency, just paper money, you can do that same thing with crypto. So Blair just alluded to it. You are the bank, essentially. You are the bank. So you have money, or crypto, I should say, in this instance, you can lend it out to people. They go take that crypto, spend it however they want to spend it, and it comes back to you with a percentage attached to it. So I'm going to keep funding that. And then really and truly, that's where I'm trying to get things on autopilot. Like if I'm day trading and putting a good amount of money setting aside to start lending, then it's on autopilot there for me. So that way I can take it, it takes me off of having to do it, being in front of my phone. Then I can go spend time doing certain things. Like I want to give back for sure to like the community that me and Blair kind of came from. Like it's an area where it's not a lot of opportunity to go do much of anything. Really, you have to go leave the area to go, do something. So it's have family, friends there and things of that nature. I want to go give back to that area for sure, whether that's in terms of a place where it's actual food. It's a food desert for sure. I'm not even sure people there realize it, but it's a food
They
desert.
don't.
Right. That's another thing that I want to get into. That's a venture. Because once again, it always kind of circles back to health and wellness, whether that's physical, spiritual, in whatever capacity, bringing that to, I guess, the people there. And it starts there. This can go beyond, for sure. There's no limits. There's no borders. I'm not keeping it, but I'd like to start it there for sure, and then branch out outside of that. I definitely want to do some work with like youth and getting them into financial literacy so they can have a jump start within their own family and their own community. Things that I look back and say, man, if I'd have known this when I was 18, 19, I would have moved completely different. And I would start really, even on grassroots level, younger than that, really and truly. Like, I'd like to show some youth that, hey, look, you don't have to go get a job. You don't have to do that. Which I will say, I'm noticing kids these days aren't necessarily, they're not as prone to just go get a job. They'll, if it's them doing something on social media, monetizing, I'm applauding that. I see that, and I'm definitely cheering for them in that regard as well. But I can show them now, like, it's from this here, that you don't even have to trade time that way. Like, you can do it to where you get allowance, whatever, any money that you may get, Christmas, birthday, whatever it is, invest in it. Let it start working for you. And once you start to see that, it takes one time. Once you start to see your money grow off of you literally doing nothing, it's an addicting feeling. I promise. It's definitely, it's an addicting thing. And that's kind of where I want to start, and then branch out. I have so many ideas as far as things that I really want to do. This podcast would be till next Wednesday, but starting there for sure.
That is so beautiful. And I say thank you on behalf of the community, just because you're so oriented in building your community and raising that awareness, and especially, connecting with the youth, because, man, if we could save them some time and some of the mistakes that we made, like, shoot,
Exactly.
it's such a ripple effect. And
right. It'll be definitely a utopia compared to what we had growing up. You know what I'm saying? Just if you can get to the youth a little bit earlier than where we got going from. That's all.
And it's so simple. Just have a bank account and get a Coinbase. If you just do those 2 steps, like,
you're winning in life already, just off of that. Like, you've done major steps into creating financial freedom and being able to take control of your life, being able to do and move how you want to move. I will say this quick tidbit. I mean, cutting your body off there. What I will say is, I don't know if this was me stepping into what I was, the purpose. I don't know. I can't attest to that yet. But as soon as I knew this was something that I was passionate about, and I did it, and like my first, it really even happened before the first successful trade. It was once I knew this is what I wanted to do, my way of thinking, involving everything, not even just money, but like literally involving everything. It was like a switch happened to where it was, I'm no longer like hoping for anything. I'm no longer, I even took the word try out of my vocabulary. It's like, I know it now. Like, I know it is whatever it is that I'm looking to go do. I know I'm going to do it now. It's just getting to it. That's the only thing. So once you know it, it kind of like it brings it into your aura, and it brings it to you, makes it real, and can kind of manifest a lot quicker. And that's one thing I noticed for myself anyway, that started happening. Like, the second I really kind of, I don't know, turned the corner, and when it came to this part of it, maybe that was just a reward from the universe for, healing my own mind and thinking, with negative thoughts regarding money, I guess. I started to manifest things a lot faster, not just because I had money, but more so because my energy towards whatever it was that I was looking to attain completely changed. Yeah. And that's what I want to bring. That's what I want to bring to everybody. Like, I want you to see that, okay, this is what you want to do. Then we're going to put focused energy towards that, and then it'll come to you.
Yeah.
Love it.
I want to have you expand upon that a little bit more, because even like dropping certain words in there, it kind of hints to you just being a spiritually oriented person. And but when you say that about like kind of like the energy, and then it comes to you, can you break that down a little bit more for our listeners?
Yeah, for sure. Me personally, I would have ideas. Whatever. I mean, I could come. I give you 1,000 ideas in a day, but me focusing on whatever it is that I wanted to bring to life would be a challenge at times. Maybe if I didn't write it down, it would leave my mind and then come back to me later on down the road. And then I'm like, dang, I did think about this a while ago. I need to go do that. Like, I knew it was a good idea. I just didn't put my energy towards it for whatever reason. You know, that's, like I said, that was a mindset that I was in. So, like I said, once again, when I guess I kind of shifted the way I started viewing things, I started to be very aware and cognizant of if I had an idea, one thing that always helped me was to write it down, for one. Like, that was the one thing. I put it on either to-do lists, whatever it may be. I'd write it down, and then I could see it, and it was there. So it was kind of like, once I wrote it down and I made it real to me, like in the physical world, right? And then I could kind of see it, and I would either leave it open on whatever notebook it may be, and I could look at it, see it, and it was kind of like a constant reminder there, like a notification in your phone, essentially, but just on paper. And then, and the more I started to think about it, the more attention I gave it, and then the more attention I gave it, obviously, the more energy I was putting towards it. It's like whatever it was, accomplish it, and then it started to become real. So I'm trying to give you an actual example of what that may be, but it would be like, for instance, to-do lists, whatever it may be. If it was something if it was errands, it could be something very minuscule on the level of, I need to, I don't know, change the oil in my car. You know, that's one of those things I'd put in my mind and wouldn't think about it, and then some time would go by, and then I started writing it down. I would come to fruition. So that's like a small level of it. But then it was certain things to where I'm literally thinking, like, as I guess the more progression I did this, it was like I would think of something and I wouldn't necessarily have a plan or whatever to go do it. It would just present itself to me, like, or there would be an opportunity. If I was literally thinking about, I want to get in contact with somebody who is a plug in this area over here, whether it be Forex, whether, you know, anything, whatever. I would think about it, and then I would like have that tab open in my mind. And then the universe literally brings somebody somewhere within the next couple of a very short time frame. It comes directly to me, and it's like, hey, yeah, so and so over here is a Forex like guru. They know so and so can do this, and you know, I'm like, I literally was just thinking about this like a day ago. Like, you know, I was thinking I need somebody like that, and then boom, here you are. That kind of thing happened. It's Blair's been around for many of them. He actually made a contact for me. He was one of those I guess the angels, you know what I'm saying, who came with one of those things to connect for me. And I was like, bro, this is what I've been looking for. Like, I was literally just saying I need this. And that's what I see. Like, I've been very aware of that. Like, that's happening so often. And it could have been, I'm sure this has been happening all along. It's just now my awareness is there for it. So like, I see it, I pick up on it. And I feel like that aspect of it came with the mindset shift of me, I guess, like I said, turning the corner and kind of like stepping into, this is something I'm passionate about. If this is my purpose, cool. Like, let it be fruitful and beneficial for me. And I'm starting to see, like I said, these little things, these tidbits here are coming, like, in the manifestation part can literally be within a day, can be within a couple of hours. It's been a phone call. Like, I'll think, like, dang, I need to call my mom for whatever, such and such and such and such. She calls me, like, literally right behind it. I'm like, I just manifested your energy. You know, like, it may sound wild to somebody else, but it happens all the time now.
That's the like, our universe. It is. I was explaining to somebody the other day because they were talking about, like, why I keep getting all these crazy women, blah blah blah. I can't find a good one. I'm like, well, it's because you're putting out a signal that's not attracting the right person to you. And he's like, oh, you know, speaking facts, like, stop speaking in blah, blah. I'm like, this is fact. Like, the universe is vibration. It's a fact.
So I see that you're into metaphysics. That's one of those things that I'm definitely interested in, as far as like just universe being endless and plentiful, boundless, or whatever. Like, just like you said, it's like you're a tuning fork. The universe is a tuning fork. Whatever you're tuned into, that's what that's what's going to radiate with you. So just like you said, everybody's a mirror of you, essentially, and whatever energy you're putting out there, that's exactly what you're going to get back. So it's definitely interesting concept. I would, anybody who may be interested in that, I would go down that rabbit hole for sure. You might learn a lot in the self revelation there. But yeah.
So what do you do in your fork?
What was that?
What do you do to keep your fork tuned?
Oh, constant self-evaluation. I noticed whenever anything is causing a great emotional response from me, then that's a great gauge of how I can tune my fork, for instance. And that goes on any emotion as far as, happiness, then that's what I want to tune into. Whatever, if, it's good feelings, positive energy, that's what I want to tune into. If it's negative, then I can look and reflect on self and say, okay, something that I'm putting out there may be causing this to reflect back to me. If it's a constant, pattern or whatever, if it's something that's like a one-off thing, and I know it's a test or whatever from the university to see like, hey, have you actually learned a lesson from, this right here? Then I'll know how I play it. Like if it's just something that's kind of like that normally would piss me off or whatever it may be, and it doesn't at this point, 9 times out of 10, I can do the self-evaluation and say, okay, that's a lesson that I've learned and I don't need to go back down that path. So I don't even need to deal with that. Like, can kind of cut it off, whatever it may be. If it's something that really triggers me, I know I need to look into something. There's something there in my aura that I need to go heal. I need to fix. I need to look into and maybe adjust, correct, whatever it may be. I like I said, though, the interactions of people, everyone is a mirror of you in some way, some shape, some form. It's just how you decipher it. That's all.
Yeah, and no rap cap, as the young ones like to say. He not playing. Like he really, the evolution with you, bro. I don't know if we've had the convo, but man, it's been amazing to see like just with both of us, like stuff that used to piss us off or whatever it may be, and like it's water under the bridge now for whatever.
I can't salute anyone enough because, like I said, for those who may not know, me and Blair we've been knowing each other for what, like 20 something years almost.
Wow.
Essentially.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So about 20 years. And I'll say we've been super close for almost all of those, like since like middle school. But like life goes on. We went to separate colleges, went and did your own thing. And it was the second we kind of like got back to a point where we were kind of hanging a lot and talking a lot. I just picked up on certain tidbits that I realized like, this isn't, like you outgrow some friends or whatever. I knew everything was different with you when it came to, you're on the same path as like trajectory as far as just growth and things of that nature. And I was like, yes, this goes beyond like just us being friends. Like this is something from spiritual realm over here. Like, bro, we brothers for real. I can't salute you enough and can't even explain how proud I am of you as well, bro.
Love, bro. Appreciate that.
No problem.
That's some genuine love right there. Like, and that, I feel like to get to that place, man, it's you have to heal. Like you have to, in order to like, I mean, I'm sure we all have it inside of us, but you got to put in the work to get to this place,
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
That's a thing. I would say I'm a big advocate of is, hey, maybe a negative stigma in society therapy is a thing I would recommend anybody to go to. And that doesn't necessarily have to go mean you gotta go sit on somebody's, couch or anything like that, lay out talking to somebody. It can be like I have therapeutic sessions. Me and Blair would.
I was just gonna say therapy with the homies, dog, all the time.
We were talking. It was like, but you have to have some like real accountable homies. Like I'm saying, like that's a real. Like you gotta have somebody who will sit there and like keep things, in perspective and keep it real. Keep it real with you. Like if you tripping, you tripping. If not, then it is what it is. But
facts.
Definitely have those therapy sessions. Certain things that can, I've heard things said to me from somebody else that I've said to myself 1,000 times, but it didn't click with me until they said it. Like, it's just it's an outside source or perspective, whatever it may be. Definitely, I guess as a male, it definitely helps to have other male perspectives if they're on the same mindset of you. But I would definitely say for me, the female aspect of things definitely helped me shape things in a way that was like, okay, let me make sure I'm looking at this from a 360 scope versus just me being stuck in the way of, me being masculine energy, thinking from that perspective. And we look at it from, the feminine perspective as well, things of that nature. And that really helped a lot of ways shape how I started to like self-reflect on things and like, okay, you know, maybe in the time, like I may have looked at something and thought I was, you know, 100% validated in what I did and how I moved. But then I look at it from a perspective of, okay, my natural instinct isn't to look at it from a feminine perspective. So whatever close friend or it's been family members who are like, I have close cousins, girl cousins, whatever, there provide some insight. And I'm like, okay, you know, different perspective. And now I'm starting to see I can move forward and correct that if that comes back to me, and it's helped tenfold for sure.
I mean, you helped me a lot with that too. It's just more so, we kind of talk about it all the time, but moving from the thinking, men think, women feel. So like more so when just the communication, when speaking to a woman, I feel we should do this, or I feel this.
That's a game changer.
It resonates. Right? Yeah, it's a game changer, bro. So just little, just little stuff. So yeah, your communication skills definitely A1, bro. When it comes to that type of stuff, you are from an early age. You've been able to kind of move that energy or do whatever you do with it, transmute it. And sometimes I'd be like, this nigga's a wizard. So.
That's awesome. But, and I know we could go on and on and on, but yeah, we'll definitely have to keep connecting offline. And I know, you know, you guys have your stuff going, and my partner is a part of y'all's group, and I'm just like, when I just see y'all interacting and what y'all are doing, oh my God, as a woman, I'm just like, yes, this is what we need more of, and I can't wait for y'all to reach that level of elevation to where you guys have people who know about you all and what you're doing, and what you're, especially what y'all are doing, going to be doing in the community and for the community, just by being a model and creating representation, you know, being a man of color, talking about Forex, talking about business, all this stuff. That representation matters so much. So it's just like, it means so much for the community and for me as a woman, especially given all the bullshit that our men have to deal with in this country. It's just like,
I mean, y'all have to deal with it too. So it's just on both sides. And I think, again, what we want to build toward is really getting that collaborative group, that real collective, men, women, like everybody supporting each other, like not just making it all about the men or making it all about the women, because we're not forming a masculine movement, just like with the feminist movement and all that type of stuff. Like, this needs to be a collaborative effort. Like, we really got to build this thing together.
Mm-hmm. I was literally about to say just that exactly. I don't even have to piggyback on that. It's shout out to all sides involved, all parties involved, because it's a collaborative effort for sure.
Mm-hmm. And even as you were speaking, Marcus, like you have to, the optimal recipe is a balance between the masculine and feminine. So if you cut either one of those out, you're not going to necessarily reach the peak potential.
You have to have both, yin and yang, for sure.
Yeah, you have to, for sure.
Awesome. All right, so I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up, even though we can go on and on. But Marcus, go ahead and let our listeners. Is there anything on your mind that you like to share? Any key insights or points of advice that you would like to share before we hop off?
I can do a shameless plug on myself and just say, if anyone out there who is listening has any questions, any advice, they need to, share anything, hit me up on my Instagram, Bossman Jiggets. I'm on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter that much anymore. Instagram would be the best way to hit me on there. For y'all, shout out to y'all for even providing the platform for this to be a discussion topic. Not just for me, but anybody else, any past guests, anything like that. This is exactly what we need. This is what needs to be out there going viral for sure. So whatever way, capacity I can help support, please let me know. I'm gonna do another shameless plug.
Hey.
Bonafide, I got here. So let's start with my guy.
Hey, blessings. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All love for sure.
All love. All right. Thank you, all of our listeners, for joining us for this special episode of the Parallel Paths podcast. Always remember to like, share, and subscribe. Connect with Marcus on his Instagram. We'll make sure to put all of his information in the description. And until next time, peace and love.
Peace, peace.
Peace, family.